All right, this is take number 18. Let's go for it again. Hi, guys. It's the weekly short with Blind to kind of talk about what's happening next week. You probably watched Code's recap of last week first, or you should have, otherwise, you're not going chronologically. Let's talk about what's happening in the future, but looking at the playoff picture first. Brown out, Kung-Fu Pandas, inaugurals, and Win Like Flynn. The entire division of death currently slated to be in the playoffs with Brown out and Ticket to Ride finishing us off there. Brownout, Kung-Fu Pandas, and inaugurals all at 12 and 4, but Brownout does have the most points for, so they hold the number 1 seed. Ticket to Ride at the 2 seed, and Justin's Deli there at the 3 seed, with Flynn coming in at the number 6 seed, currently at 9 and 7. Webster Tigers and Liquidators right behind, both at 8 and 8 before the rest of the league out there in the toilet bowl. Closest team to them is the Seawards at 6 and 10. We'll touch on that more here in a second. Let's look at the matchups we got going on for this week. First one's first. Implications at inaugurals. The implications might have gotten some luck with Brissett at quarterback with the May injury, so they can get to the bye week for Russell Wilson. Does it even matter? We'll see if the May injury is a long-term one or not at all, but we know that they're destined for the worst season that we've seen in our 3-year existence. The inaugurals, most points for. I feel like they're the most forgotten about of the big three. I feel like we talk about Brownout a lot. I feel like we think about Kung-Fu Pandas a lot. And the inaugurals are part of that big three, but man, they made their presence felt again last week. 212-ish, I think it was, points for last week. Could have been even better with the most optimal lineup. The inaugurals are scary. The Seawards against the Kung-Fu Pandas. This is a must-win, in my opinion, for the Seawards to really stay in that playoff. Oh, the hiccups. To stay in the playoff hunt. Still definitely have a route to get to the extra pick bracket if this game doesn't go well, but I wonder where Rick wants to be. I feel like they mop up the toilet bowl if they make it in there. But the Anthony Richardson concerns make me wonder what Rick would rather do. Maybe get the 101 and take another quarterback. Is it scary to think that way already after just a year and a half-ish of Anthony Richardson? Other side of things, the Pandas keep dumping points, but they keep having ups and downs, but they should be back on the up and up. DK should be back this week. Juju's getting healthy. Rico Dowdle, that last-minute illness thing, shouldn't be an issue anymore, and so they should have some of their pieces back as they start to get to the back half of the season. Ticket to Ride against Justin's Deli. Almost made this the game of the week, but I didn't. But this really could decide the second seed, as both these teams seem to be pulling away from their division, both 3 games up over their next closest opponent. The question really for Ticket to Ride is, will the Eagles do what they did again to the Bengals, because they put up 70 points. He's got Hurts, Smith, and A.J. Brown. They put up 70 points combined last week. Will they do that again, or will they get benched like they did against the Giants a few weeks ago? And then for the Deli, there's only one bye. The main knock on Justin's Deli is that they don't have a lot of depth, but there's only one bye. It's George Pickens, and Xavier Worthy can slide right into that slot. So it really shouldn't be a concern for them or their team. Tough run over versus Brownout. The groin injury for Love's a bit spooky after kind of seeing when he came off the field. It wasn't really too much of a contact injury. You wonder if it's a re-aggravation of the other injury since the MCL and the groin are so close to each other, but who knows? Brownout still firing on all cylinders as we know and expect. Most points for, most points against, still at the top 12 and 4, number 1 seed. Still primed for that repeat. Flynn versus Project. Project's probably just happy to have Tua back as they wait for the bowl here. But Flynn, it is so happy to cheer for a successful version of you. No changing your team to lose like Flynn this year. The question I have for you is, do you plan on selling any of your 6 starting quarterbacks that you have on your roster, if you include Bryce Young? So I don't. So 5 starting quarterbacks. Do you plan on playing the roundup game? Do you plan on selling? It is just a fun one to think about. Your game of the week this week, though, I went with the Tigers and Liquidators just because I feel like both teams have said, this is my year, and have pushed in, and they're now on the struggle bus here at 8 and 8 in the extra pick bracket currently. So 2 teams built up from the ground up. Superflex concerns for the Liquidators. Purdy's on bye and May's hurt. I think he'll miss this week. Could that be his downfall? Could the Tigers also have that bit of a downfall as well? Injuries start to sit decisions. All 3 quarterbacks could be the right answer. Baker against the Chiefs in a shootout. Jaden Daniels banged up against the Giants defensive line. Or who's his other quarterback? Somebody important. It's Trevor Lawrence against the Eagles when you know they're going to have to throw the ball. Really interesting. I mentioned trades a couple times. Your obscure rule of the week, don't forget conditional trades exist. That seems to have spiced things up recently. You guys can add any condition you want to any trades you want to make it happen. Let's see how creative we can get.